Ababio turned 18 the same week he completed his homeschooling. His parents had done everything possible to protect him from the harsh realities of the world. They kept him indoors, shielded him from stares, and taught him from home, all because of his gray hair. That hair, unusual for his age, had made him the subject of whispers, stares, and unkind gossip. But now it was time to face the world. It was time for university. His parents knew the real test was ahead. They were scared, not just for him, but of him saying no. They knew it wouldn't be easy to get him to leave home. For days, Ababio stayed quiet. He barely spoke. He kept going to his room and locking the door. His mother knocked, his father called, but he said nothing. He wasn't ready. The world had never welcomed him. All his life, he had seen people look at him with surprise, fear, or confusion because of his hair. Some even mocked him from a distance. And now he was expected to go out there, to a university filled with strangers. He didn't think he had the strength, but his parents didn't stop encouraging him. They spoke gently, they reassured him, and after 5 days, he quietly agreed to go. His first day at the university felt like a nightmare. The school was big, noisy, and full of people. He tried to hide his gray hair under a cap, but it didn't work. People still looked. Some turned their heads quickly, others stared openly. As he walked past groups of students, he heard whispers and soft laughter. He didn't speak to anyone. He kept his eyes on the ground, his hands deep in his pockets. Every step outside his house felt like walking on glass. His fear grew with every passing minute. Days turned into weeks, but nothing changed. Ababio avoided the hostel. He stayed off campus and went home after every class. He didn't join any group. He didn't talk to classmates. Even when he knew the answers in class, he stayed silent. It wasn't that he lacked confidence. He just didn't want attention. The whispers followed him everywhere. Look at that boy with white hair. Is he okay? Is it real? Maybe it's a sign. He heard it all, every time. But he acted like he didn't. Inside, he was hurting. He was struggling in silence. Still, Ababio focused on his studies. He buried himself in books, watched every lecture video, and solved every practice question he could find. He didn't talk much, but he listened. He observed, he learned. And slowly, something started to change. His name began appearing on lecturers' lips, not because of his hair, but because of his brilliance. One lecturer called him a genius. Another said he had never taught a student quite like him. Still, no one truly knew him. They just saw a quiet boy who always got things right. One day in class, a lecturer asked a difficult question. No one raised a hand, not even the top students. Ababio knew the answer. He looked around. Everyone was silent. His heart raced. Slowly, he raised his hand. Yes, you, the lecturer said. Ababio stood up and gave the answer. Clear, simple, correct. The class turned to look at him. The lecturer clapped. Brilliant, he said. That was the first time Ababio spoke in class. From that day, people started to see him differently. The stares didn't stop, but they began to shift in meaning. Even with that small win, Ababio remained cautious. He still felt like an outsider. People were now more curious than cruel, but it made him uneasy. Some tried to speak to him. Others asked questions about his hair. Were you born like that? Is it genetics? Can I touch it? He smiled politely but kept his distance. He had learned not to expect kindness. He just wanted to finish school and move on. Every time he submitted an exam, he told himself, just a little more, just keep going. At home, his parents noticed the change in him. He was stronger, but quieter too. They didn't ask too many questions. They made his favorite meals. They waited patiently for him to speak. And sometimes he did. I passed everything, he'd say with a small smile. His father would nod proudly. His mother would hug him a little longer. They knew the journey wasn't easy, but they also saw something beautiful, resilience. Their son wasn't just surviving, he was growing. Final exams came. Ababio didn't panic, he was ready. He completed every paper with confidence. He didn't talk much about it, but he knew he had done well. His classmates started calling him Professor behind his back. Some said he was the smartest student they had ever met. A few tried to befriend him, but Ababio stayed focused. He wasn't there to make friends. He was there to make it through. And now, with his final paper submitted, he could finally breathe. But the journey wasn't over yet. Graduation day came. The skies were bright and music filled the air. The university grounds were decorated with banners and tents. Families took photos and laughed together. Ababio wore his gown carefully. His gray hair still stood out, but this time he didn't try to hide it. His parents arrived early, smiling proudly. His mother wore a colorful dress. His father held his phone like a professional photographer. Then came the announcement. The best graduating student was about to be revealed. The vice-chancellor stepped forward. "Ababio," he announced. The crowd clapped. Some stood, others looked surprised. "The boy with the gray hair," someone whispered. Ababio stood slowly. His heart beat faster. Cameras flashed. His parents stood with tears in their eyes. For the first time, he wasn't being noticed because of his hair. He was being celebrated for his excellence. He collected his award with a calm smile. "You are a star, young man," the vice-chancellor whispered as they shook hands. After the ceremony, everyone wanted to talk to him. Lecturers, students, even strangers. Some asked for photos. Others offered congratulations. That chapter was over. The fear, the silence, the shame. He was free. More importantly, he had triumphed. Ababio didn't even search for a job after school. He was still thinking about his future when one morning an international oil company showed up at his home. They had followed his story, watched his speech, reviewed his grades. He hadn't applied. He didn't send a CV, but they came with an offer letter. "We've been looking for someone like you," they said. His parents wept with joy. Ababio was stunned. They called him special. Even though the job came to him, Ababio was still nervous. He had spent so long hiding. He knew the world could be unkind to people who looked different. But he was ready to face life. He reminded himself, show up, do your best. When he resumed work, the stares returned. Some colleagues smiled to his face but whispered behind his back. A few avoided him. "Why won't he cut it?" they murmured. "He won't last." But Ababio stayed silent. He greeted everyone with respect. He worked hard. He didn't complain or explain himself. One morning, a major technical issue occurred. A core machine stopped working. The company began losing millions. Top engineers were called in. Some had over 20 years of experience. Still, no solution. Everyone was tense. Ababio had studied this issue during his university days. He asked the head engineer for a chance to help. The man frowned. "You? Are you sure?" Ababio nodded politely. After some delay, they let him try. In less than 2 hours, he solved the problem. Everyone was stunned. Production resumed. A director clapped. Others joined. A staff meeting was held. Ababio received a special award. His parents were invited. That day, Ababio stood tall, his hair uncovered, and gave a short speech. "All my life, people judged me for my hair. Some never gave me a chance. But I didn't stop. I thank my parents for believing in me. I thank this company for letting me prove myself." The room went silent. Then came a loud applause, a standing ovation. Ababio wiped silent tears and returned to his seat. For the first time, he felt seen. From that day, Ababio changed. He stopped hiding. He walked with confidence. He let his hair shine. Some new staff began admiring his look. He smiled more, spoke up, led projects, trained younger engineers. His fear began to melt away. Soon, others changed too. They no longer saw only his hair. They saw his brilliance, kindness, and hard work. The same people who once avoided him now invited him to lunch and asked for advice. Ababio had become a role model. His story spread online. Many parents began rethinking their views on what normal should look like. One day, Ababio met someone who loved him deeply. Her name was Amma, and she worked in finance. They became friends, then partners. Eventually, they married. His parents danced with joy. His mother said, "This is the happiness I've waited for." Ababio felt whole. He had pushed through fear, rejection, and shame, and found love, purpose, and peace. His life became proof that you don't have to look like everyone else to succeed. His story taught people that being different is not a flaw. It is a gift. He became a guest speaker at conferences, sharing his story with young people. Even if no one believes in you, he told them, believe in yourself. That's all you need. Ababio had finally found what he had always longed for: freedom. Freedom from shame. Freedom from fear. Freedom to be himself. And in that freedom, he found joy. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. It really helps the channel grow. And a big shout out to all our new subscribers. I love you all.